But like soap? Yeah, I put soap in my mouth.
No, soap tastes so bad. Do you remember when people were like drinking bleach, like in the beginning of COVID, like thinking that
Yeah.
was like okay?
Eating Tide Pods.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, soap does taste bad, but what if we found the best tasting soap? That's like that's a compelling. I found the best tasting soap. That's the name of the video.
Are we gonna make that video someday? Like we're just both gonna
Yeah.
go out and buy like 5 soaps
We're
that are
we're
like
gonna meet up in person. We're gonna buy every single soap we can find, and then we're
Yeah.
gonna taste test them all.
I would love for like we're not just gonna meet up in person, like we're gonna meet up in like a McDonald's in the middle, like off the interstate or
With all of
something.
the soap laid out on the table. We
Yeah.
have a fry to like palate cleanse.
Oh,
That's a good idea.
Fried a
Mhm.
palate cleanse. I don't even think I need to say hello. Welcome back to a Candid Conversation with my name is Breezeby. We've already started rolling on this thing, so I'm gonna ask you, someone that goes by many names at this point. I feel like I've known you under many names. Who are you and what do you do?
Well, thanks for having me. I'm really
Anytime.
happy and excited to be on a wrestling podcast.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's
Don't say
that's
that
a
because
big
people
moment for
will
me.
expect. They'll be like, all right, so when are you talking about wrestling? Like it's a thing
So
now.
right. So I'm a professional. No, I'm just kidding.
Can you imagine? You just
Imagine.
told me now, like I didn't know.
Yeah, I've
You're like,
kept it a secret
so
this whole
yeah.
time. I tear off my mask and I'm Logan Paul underneath or something.
That's like the worst wrestler you could have chose.
I know.
It just sucks.
That's why I chose this interview
Right.
would suck. You'd be like, fuck, I don't want to be here
I don't
anymore.
want to do this.
I'm Shane. I go online as Shafournee. Terrible name because nobody can ever say it right.
No?
Nobody ever gets it right. Everybody always just Shafournee, Shafournee, things like that.
Shafournee is nice.
Shafournee, yeah. Some people, probably most people know me as the guy who uploaded a video of Cluster Truck because that video has like 3 million views. Yeah, here's the thing you don't know about me.
There's
I have a
so much
video-
I don't know about you, weirdly enough, and I feel like I've known you a while now.
Yeah, it's true. I have a video with 3 million views on my YouTube channel because I played Cluster Truck 7 years ago and streamed it. And in Cluster Truck, there was this thing where the developers could come into your game and it had like Twitch integration and they had put in custom commands for themselves. So they could like do things like change the color of all the trucks or like change the gravity in the game. This is super cool. Oh no. Oh my god. Oh no. And then the last part, I'm spoiling the video, I'm sorry.
No, it's
not a
fine.
very good video anyways.
At 3 million
Troll you.
views, it's probably a little bit of something.
I am like so much less entertaining back then. My audio is like, whoa, this is crazy. It's so cool to have the devs in here. That's how I used to talk
You
all
got
the
some
time.
moist critical going on. Yeah.
And people always used to say, is this dude budget moist critical? They would comment on that video. Be like, why is moist critical here? Yeah. So
Oh shit.
but at the end of that video, they rickroll you. And I kept that in because that's like the funniest part. Everyone else who uploaded a highlight from that cut it out so they could monetize it. Because if the rickroll's in there, you can't monetize
Of
it.
course.
So I think that's the main reason mine got so many views is people wanted to find one with the rickroll. And then the things that I wish people actually knew me for is I maybe one day.
Sure.
I'm a game developer. I'm working on an indie game called Chromaticasters, which you've played. It's a
Yes.
chaotically cute cooperative roguelike.
I love it.
And yeah, I work on that with my wife and my best friend and another friend of mine who does the music, and it's on Steam, so wishlist it. I also recently something came out that was me and that group of people who I make Chromaticasters with, and a bunch of Michigan developers. We made something that was like an anthology, kind of like the DreadX collection, but it was themed after planets instead of all being horror games, because everyone was like, "Are we gonna do horror games?" And people were like, "No, I don't want to do horror
Yeah,
games."
that's fair.
So it's way more scattered. There's like less of a cohesive theme, but I kind of like that. There's a lot of variety in the games. We made like a fishing. I like to call it like it's like Resident Evil inventory management, but Animal Crossing fishing mechanics,
Mm-hmm.
and then you like complete quests for people by like solving puzzles of filling in their inventory with fish. And then there are some really cool games in that though. There's another one where it's like a JRPG where you're repeating the same playthrough every like 5 or 10 minutes. I played it a while ago, but that one's actually really hard, but that's very fun. There's a lot of cool stuff in that pack, so I would recommend checking it out if you're interested. Anyways,
What is that pack called, by the way? I don't know if you mentioned.
it is like it has like the longest name ever. It's
Does
like the locally yeah, it's actually so it's called like the locally sourced anthology.
Okay, all right.
Uh,
I feel like I looked it up because I think Hecky was playing that fishing game recently,
yeah,
and I was like, this looks so cool. He's like, dude, Shane made this. And I was like,
yeah.
what? It was so neat. And so I can't remember if I bought it afterwards or if I like have it in my cart and I was just like waiting to buy it, but it looks really cool.
Okay, I was gonna say I could probably get you a review copy if
No,
you'll
God,
make like a
no.
video where
I'm
all you
gonna
say is good
pay
thing.
you for
No, I'm
it.
just
I'm
kidding.
gonna pay you for it and only say good things about it. So there.
Well, but it doesn't feel like I manipulated you into doing it now,
Oh, right.
and that's
So
disappointing.
that
Yeah,
is really disappointing. People want the
it's disappointing.
drama, okay? So if we can just get
Exactly.
that in there,
Yes.
that'd be great.
But anyways, enough about me. Let's move back to this soap
This is
tier list.
entirely about you. What are you talking about? This whole thing is a candid conversation with you. We're gonna
I
talk
thought
about
we were
soap, though.
I thought we were gonna talk about soap, or maybe like
We are.
the presidential election that's coming up. Wow. Okay, never mind.
Wow. We could. Yeah, for sure. Personally, I think Dove soap would probably taste the best, like the
Because it's like a bird, and birds taste good.
Sure. That's really good reasoning. Yeah. Yeah, no, I think that's why. It also just seems like very creamy. I don't know why my camera's freaking out, by the way. I'm sorry that I noticed it's been happening this whole time. My camera's just spazzing out.
No, it's okay.
It's fine. There's just a ghost in the walls. Yeah, I think Dove soap would be delicious.
That's awesome.
Let me really quick though, back to you if we could, because this is about you, and I think that's important. You are working on a game, Chromaticasters. I played it with a couple of my friends. It was super fun. Where did you get the idea for it? How did you get into game development? Like, tell me all the things. Start from square one.
Okay, so I was born in 1995.
Were you really?
Yeah, I was.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
We're so close in age. That's so fun. I don't feel so
God.
old. Wow.
I know. I'm gonna turn 30 next year.
I'm turning 30 this year.
Oh no, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it's painful. Are you in pain already?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I've started working out. I
did too.
ran a 5K.
Oh my God, congratulations.
A couple of months ago, yeah. And I've since like getting back into running, I've been feeling a lot physically better.
Yeah,
It's
you
crazy.
have to. It's like a requirement when you near 30.
I know, it's so stupid. Everyone's like, you'll feel better, you'll be happier if you exercise, and they were right.
Yeah, and I'm
That
mad.
kind of pisses me off.
Same.
Yeah. Okay, but anyways. Okay, so I was in high school. I was a dumb kid. I took like every kid, if you're in high school,
dumb.
you're dumb. I'm sorry. That's just how it is.
Shout out to all you high school kids right now. Dumb as fuck.
Dumb as fuck. But I actually took I like missed a class. I had medical issues in school. I had to like make up over the summer a class, and I took a programming class. I was like, this is awesome. I really am enjoying this. Maybe I'll do this for a long time. Like maybe I'll, want to do this professionally. And then the course ended, and I kind of moved on, trying to learn it on my own. And I'm going to mention something that you probably won't know what I'm talking about, but I'll just say it anyways. I got to pointers on my own, and I was like, I don't fucking know what any of this is. I'm so confused. I give up. I'm never going to learn how to program.
Hell yeah.
I decided like, yeah, I'll never be able to do that. I'm not smart enough for it. Graduated from high school. I was like, fuck school. I'm not going to college. I worked at pizza places for like 2 or 3 years.
That's fine. That's good.
Yeah. No, I mean, in some ways, it was really a good chance to like, if I immediately went to college, I would have been like, school sucks. I hate it. I'm not taking it seriously. I would have gotten a degree I didn't care about and been in a lot of debt.
Oof, that one hits close to home. Continue.
Yeah. But I was like, no, I'm not going to go. And then I had a friend who was actually a little bit older than me who had gone to school and decided like, I don't like what I went to school for. I'm going to go back and get an electrical engineering degree. And I was like 20 or something. So I'm not even that far behind the curve. But in my mind, I was like, obviously you can't go to college at this point. You're 20. And I have someone much older than me who's going back. Yeah. I know, right? And I'm like, wow, you really can go back to college. Aww. That's crazy. I know it. And it's actually, sometimes it's just the right thing at the right moment to remind you. So I go back to college. I take 2 classes. I take like a history class and I think like an English class or a math class. Don't try at all, and I don't care. And I get like C's in those classes. And then I like really think about it. I'm like, what am I doing? Like, if I'm going to go back to school, I have to like take it seriously. So I go to community college for a while and kind of learn how to study. That part's hard to do. Yeah. Blah, blah, blah. I transfer to a 4-year university and I'm going to go for mechanical engineering because engineering is a good way to make money.
Sure is.
That was my philosophy.
Yep.
But a friend of mine, the person I do all the programming work with on Chromaticasters, actually, he was like, you should learn how to make games. Because he'd already been doing this. And he was like, I'll teach you, and I think you'll like it. And I was like, okay, fine. It was the summer, and I had nothing else to do. And then I just really fell in love with it, changed my major to computer science. And then, like, yeah, from there, it was like, just all worked out. I think that was like 2016. So it's almost been like 10 years of that.
Wow. Does it feel like it's been almost 10 years of that?
No, I feel like I barely have started because I'll run into random problems and be like, I have no idea how to solve this. I'm so confused. Yeah, I mean, it is surprising looking back because I remember like I did a game jam, which is like, you might know, but for anyone who doesn't know, it's basically like a couple of days of just trying to make a game, which if you know anything about making a game, making one in a couple of days is a really monumentous task.
Yeah.
And people often stay up all day or stay up for multiple days because people who make games are insane. But I did it like, yeah. I did that like 6 months after I started learning programming.
Wow.
And it was like with people who like were very experienced and I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You know? And then it's funny to go from that to like, I did a jam a couple of months ago, actually. And I was thinking about it during the jam where you're just knocking stuff out like it's second nature. And then you're like, wow, that really was like 8 years ago, I guess.
Yeah. Were there other people on that team you worked with for like the newest game jam that you felt maybe knew less than you, but like you were like, whatever, like they're learning just like I was, or was everyone pretty on par?
To some extent. I mean, there's like, I was doing it with coworkers. So they were people who are experienced with software engineering, but there are some places where like I know more about game programming specifically than they did.
Yeah.
Where it was interesting to see like, oh, it's just like, oh, wow, I forgot this is the thing I have learned and know.
That's so exciting to see.
It is. It's a really good feeling. I don't know if you do this with skills that you develop, but I'll always be like, well, this thing is easy because I know how to do it.
Yeah.
People be like,
but like it wasn't before. It's funny when you were like, oh, I got to this and I quit because it was hard. That is most of my life in a nutshell. Like if someone was to like make an inspiring story about me, it would be really difficult because I do tend to just hit a wall and be like, nope, don't want to do that anymore. That fucking sucks. But that's amazing that you like came back from it and you were just like, yeah, now I do it and it's fine.
Well, I mean, there have been so many walls I've hit, like looking for jobs in games and being like, not hearing back and being like, man, maybe I just am not cut out for it, And it's definitely easy to feel like that. I think that's a feeling that like everyone relates to, but it's almost always the case that, in my opinion, you can do whatever you want to do. It's just you might not be there yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you work for a studio separate from like Chromaticasters and all that, or is like that your full-time gig?
Yeah, no, I wish. It was my full-time gig. Like, that's the eventual goal for sure. But yeah, I work for a studio outside of that.
Cool.
Mostly I do like porting work. So like porting from like PC to console.
Nice.
And that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's all useful basically.
Yeah. I assume you grew up playing games. Like, people don't usually just get into game design because it's easy or fun.
I'm in it for the money, you know?
Yeah, I've talked to enough devs to know that's not a thing.
I took such a big pay hit going. When I started professionally working, I was in automotive. I was at a self-driving car place. Ooh. And I went from there to games. I took such a big pay hit. I don't even want to say. It felt so bad, but I was like, but currently I'm unhappy and I might be happy doing this thing instead. And that was true.
Oh, so good. It was a good choice. You still enjoy it. This is a very weird time, I feel, to be, and maybe a very good and progressive time to be employed by a studio, because we are going through this whole, like, I mean, we just saw some of the biggest layoffs in the game industry.
Yeah.
Maybe ever. And people are talking about like unionizing and how game studios don't have like a whole lot of these protections. So it's a weird time, I feel, to be in the industry.
It is. Yeah. It is. I mean, you're seeing people with like lots and lots of experience, years of experience, struggling to find work because the industry is just bad right now. And I think studios are uncertain. Like, we saw, the thing that happened really is that COVID made such a surge in like everyone's home. Everyone is paying a lot of money for entertainment.
Yeah.
So studios started acquiring a lot of people. And it was like more than they could actually make. And once like things kind of renormalized after COVID, I mean, that's part of it. Like, but let's be honest, Microsoft shutting down studios that are successful, or Embracer shutting down studios that are successful. It's honestly very ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know,
that feels like a tax write-off. Something about that is like not right.
Right. I mean, it's like when you see these like giant corporations, this is so sad to talk about, but look, it's not about, do you make a profit? It's about, are you making like 4 or 5 times returns? Because that's what they want. That's what they're looking for. And so if you don't, you might get shut down. And that, in my opinion, shouldn't even be legal.
No, like, God, no.
It's ridiculous to close a company that is earning profit, that is currently making you money. It's like an unbelievably ridiculous thing to do. And I'm not trying to say like, well, the solution is that you shouldn't be able to shut down companies, but like, wouldn't it just be better if they had like let them go? Like, okay, maybe you'll run out of runway and you'll close on your own, but that's a decision you can make.
Right.
Instead of forcing a shutdown.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, it's fucked. It's been a fucked time.
Yeah.
And I guess it's kind of cool because you have both perspectives as someone who is in a company making games. But you're like an indie developer yourself, working on your own thing. So like you see both sides of the struggle. What for you is the most difficult part of being an indie developer?
Not getting paid to do
it. Fair.
I mean, it's really hard to find the time outside of a real full-time job to do it. I think like if that was not the case, I still do kind of think the answer would be like, oh, you know, worrying that our next game will sell well enough to get us there. I think like probably for most indies, they're constantly worrying about money. And that sucks, you know? I think the other thing is, and this is the part of what I actually like about, I will say this is a hard part about being indie, but this is what I like about it too, is you do every job. Like you can't be like, you're at a big company, you know, there's like some crazy graphics task that needs to get done. I'm not doing that. You know, we have some graphics guy who does that.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're at like Rockstar, like imagine working at Rockstar and you're one of like 180,000 engineers at the company or whatever. And like GTA 6 comes out and somebody asks like, what did you do? And you're like, oh, I did the doors on cars. That was like the 7 years of my life.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I mean, obviously it's not going to be that small, but
still,
you get so hyper specifically focused,
right.
like you would be on the car team and
Yeah.
your whole job would be, I work on the cars. But when you're an indie, like you do everything.
Yeah.
And I really like that. I like being like kind of a jack of all trades.
Yeah. And your wife does the art, correct?
She does all the art.
Are you an artist at all, or were you like, no, you have to do this?
I said, look, I was like, I'll start dating you if you do art for my. No, I'm just kidding.
You can have the ring if you do the art.
Exactly. No, it's a thing that she likes making art, and we talked about it for a while, and we're like, well, the nice thing is I make enough money that she can do it full time.
Yeah.
And then an artist has a lot of work to do. So her being able to do it full time makes it a lot more feasible.
Yeah. The art is cute. Like, I'm gonna make sure I have like, images and stuff, and it probably could take like the trailer or something. I don't know if I have any of the gameplay.
I can send you stuff too.
That would be great. I would love to. Where did you get the idea for Chromaticasters and like all the cute little characters?
It's honestly hard to remember.
How long ago was it?
Like 5 years.
Yeah, that's a long time.
It was also when I was still in school. So we've been very on and off.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would say like, a couple of years ago there would be like 6 months where I didn't touch the game at all. Now it's to the point where like I'm basically working on it every day. But back then we were just brainstorming different ideas. I think the core of what we wanted was we wanted a game that felt. This is funny. It's funny to say this too because it sounds like we were like brainstorming because of COVID. But I just have a lot of friends who are remote. Or if I say remote, who don't live near
far
me.
away, yeah.
Yeah, who are far away. So the thing that I was like is like I want an experience that feels like couch co-op without needing to be there with the other person,
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, and like that was kind of the core thought. And a lot of what we were talking about originally was like a Mario Party type thing. Something around those lines, but like a little bit fancier.
Yeah,
we had the idea of like it was like Mario Party, but each of the maps you'd have different objectives, and instead of like it just being collect all the stars, it would be like trying to remember exactly what it would be, like a weird auction system going on in one of them, and then but we were talking, and the original idea, which by the way it's like as you get better at game design, you're like, wow, that just isn't a good idea.
Yeah.
The original idea was like, what if you have like one guy who can shoot like a fireball and another guy that can shoot like a lightning bolt, and like they combine, you hit the lightning bolt with your fireball and then it makes an explosion.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the idea, is that like you could combine your attacks like that. And that was as far as we got, because we were like, what happens when you combine fire and water? It's like, well, I guess the fire goes out. It doesn't really work.
Makes fire water.
We made that tiny little prototype. And it's just, I mean, it's like, do you know how hard it is to hit a fireball with a lightning bolt, or vice versa? It is not easy.
Yeah.
Like we could have really have seen that coming, without even really making the prototype for it. But and what like the conventional wisdom is you should always just do a lot of prototypes. So like it would have been fine if we did that and then we kind of tried something else, then we tried something else. But there was something about this idea that we liked, like the idea of like combining magic together to make something bigger, I guess. And so we worked on that for a long time, and I think part of it is it's funny because I think if we had the experience we have now, we wouldn't have gotten to the game we're making right now, because we would have just kind of gone in a different direction.
Sure.
We would have been like, oh, this isn't working. Let's try something else. So in a lot of ways, like the fact that we've been on this for a long time, I think it's partially a good thing, because I don't think we would have ever made this.
Yeah. If
we were as good at the thing as we are now, which is obviously going to keep improving and whatnot. I'm not trying to say we're an expert, but we're in fact very bad. You're reminded constantly as you design games, like, wow, I am really bad at this.
Yeah.
Because you'll just have an idea you think is so cool. You'll implement it and put it in front of people, and it fucking sucks.
That's a very honest reflection.
It's so normal though.
Yeah.
That's like the big, I think that's like what, when people get good at making art in general, you know, like, but you get better at self-analyzing it, I guess. Like when you
Yeah.
make a painting, you can look at it and you'd be like, "Oh, this sucks. I don't need other people to tell me that."
Yeah.
With games, it's a little bit harder. Sometimes you can play it and tell that it sucks, but sometimes you don't know. I don't know what it is. There's something that's different about watching somebody play it
Yeah. Where you're
than
like,
playing it
oh.
yourself. Yeah, yeah.
Are there have there been ideas among the three of you that like you've really really liked and wanted to hold on to, or other people have, and like you're just not agreeing on it and it's just not happening?
So often.
Really?
We argue a lot.
No
We
kidding.
argue a lot. We here's a discussion I literally had earlier today with Andrew, who's the other programmer, which is like we talk about, so the original idea is that they're like all elemental mages, right?
Yeah.
They're all using elements. And you've seen like the 4 initial characters, but we're planning to add more. And I always throw out very outlandish ideas. Like I'm like, what's this guy's element? Well, he's a chef. That's the element. I think that's really funny.
And he's like, no.
Exactly. I mean, it's literally that discussion where he's like,
Yeah.
that's not an element. We need a strong, cohesive like theme. And I'm like, okay, that's fair. He's a chef though. This guy uses a gun. That's what makes him thematic.
Well, like how many elements are there that you can work with? Am I missing something? I thought there were like 4 primaries. So like what else are you going to do after
there's like
this?
shadow and light. And
those are elements?
We're like stretching what it means.
I guess if you're going by like Pokemon rules, right? Like I'm thinking of like, oh, it's
dragon,
fairy, and I'm like, yeah, sure.
That's such bullshit.
Rock, I don't know. Is that an element?
Rock,
you think fairy is
okay.
bullshit?
Fairy is bullshit. Yeah, that's not an element. That's like a thing. That's like a species.
You're right, it is. But so is dragon and ghost.
Why isn't like Infernape a monkey type?
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. I'm going to be real, though. I didn't grow up with Pokemon the way some people did. So as an adult, I was just like, ooh, like I love whatever's happening here. Like I just like the cards and shit.
That makes sense.
But I think by those rules, you could have chef
exactly.
element.
What I am saying is the next type they introduce in Pokemon should be chef.
Can you imagine?
How cute would that be?
Yes, like a whole
They're all just
series.
Little, yeah.
I love
that's such a good idea.
Sous chef, and one that's like specializes in like desserts, and then one that's like just a butcher or something.
Their attacks are like they throw pies at you and stuff.
Yeah. Well, I think there already are like cupcake Pokemon.
Right. Yes.
Right?
There's a tea kettle or whatever.
That's right. There's a tea kettle and a teacup.
Yes, they could just be chef type.
We're already there. Listen, if Pokemon can make a Pokemon that is just a bunch of car keys, I think you can have a chef element in your game.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'll support you through that.
I'm going to come back. I'm going to message him right after this and be like, I'm adding the chef.
I feel like we have it on record that multiple people agree with me that the chef is a good idea. Think of the costumes.
One of our friends commented on a devlog, Chops, if you know Chops, and he went...
I don't think I do.
Okay, but he went, please tell me you're adding a gun mage to this game. And I pointed to that and I was like, look, Andrew, see? Other people want it.
I would be like all hands on deck for a gun mage. Because like I don't know what that entails other than he has a gun. But that's all I need. That's super fun.
You know, that's been part of Andrew's criticism. He's like, your whole idea is that he has a gun, but you haven't like said anything further than that. And I'm like, that's all it needs.
He has a gun. Yeah.
But I'm just joking though. I think the best part is this is like the value of working with other people. You don't get to do just your vision, which is both a downside and an upside, you know?
Yeah.
Because I think there are lots of artists who like, when they got all the training wheels taken off and got to do whatever they wanted, they make something way worse than when they have people to rein them in.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Does your wife have a lot of creative... Did I say wife or girlfriend earlier? It's wife, right?
It's wife, yeah.
Wife.
Yeah.
You put a ring on that.
Wife.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
That sounds so disrespectful to her. I have nothing but love for her. Does she have a lot of creative freedom since she is the artist, or is it mostly you two being like, it should look like this?
No, it's like almost entirely on her to the extent that like she's like, "This is stressful, and I don't want to have this much."
Oh, no.
But it's been good because it's been a process of like, it's nice because I know I'm gonna work with them a lot more in the future, even
Yeah.
past this, you know? So Allison will be like, "What do you think it should look like? Should it look like this or that?" And I'm like, "Well, you're the artist. Like, do whatever you want." She's like, "No, I want feedback."
Yeah, is that the hardest part about working with your wife is like, oh no, like we're now like crossing boundaries here.
We've genuinely had like fights about the game,
Really?
but it's like a good thing, I
Yeah.
think, because if we're gonna work together on stuff for a long time,
Yeah.
we need to be able to like have serious, you know, and obviously it's always like, it starts off sort of like, "I hate you," you know? No, I'm just kidding. But
Straight to the point.
we've gotten really like at each other's throats.
Yeah.
Like passionately upset at each other.
It's how you know you care about something. I don't know. Like
Yeah.
that's really telling.
But I mean, we plan to have kids eventually. It's gonna be the same fucking thing.
Oh, for sure.
I'm gonna want to name our kid like, you know, Gyarados, and she's gonna be like, "No, we're not naming our kid Gyarados." And I'm gonna pull out the divorce papers. That's how I always get her. I'm like, I've got
prepped.
pre-signed. Yeah, I have them pre-signed. I'm like, "Do you want me to use these?"
I'll use these. It's Gyarados or nothing.
I make myself sound like such a manipulator.
You're not. I know this for a fact. You are
I know,
not.
yeah. I'm projecting she has the divorce papers pre-signed.
Right. As she should.
It's funny too. Right. Well, that's fair. With me being such a manipulator.
Right, correct. She's got to be ready to walk out the door.
I wouldn't even pick Gyarados. She'd probably be down with Gyarados because she loves Pokemon. I would pick like a character from Dark Souls or something.
Okay, well, yeah. I would love to see you name your future son Solaire, but like, you gotta make some...
I wouldn't name him Solaire. I would name him like, what's a good one? I'd name him after one of the bosses. I'd name him Ceaseless Discharge.
Ceaseless Discharge is the worst one you could have chosen. That's awful. You could have gone with anything. There is one that I love a lot. It's not a boss, but it's like fuck it. I think I changed my Discord name to it for a while, but it was something like horrendous cretin, or like it was something.
What? There's a Bloodborne one. It's like the aliens you fight, and they're called like horrible abomination.
The
or
little
something.
Jelly babes that like yeah. I fucking love that game. It's so good.
That's such a good game.
I can't remember what
the remake's coming out. No, I'm just kidding.
Stop! Don't you say that.
That's what you should title the video.
Bloodborne remake.
Bloodborne remake announced
here. that the clickbait. The amount of dislikes on that video.
That'd be so good.
I'm gonna do it.
Look, it's about sending a message. It's about getting views, really.
Right. I've only ever been about views in my whole life.
That's what it's called. The boss is called Living Failures. That's what I'm gonna name my kid. Living Failure.
And I approve, and I think your wife will love it personally.
Would they send CPS after you? Do you think that's like a thing you could get your kid taken away for?
Yeah, I think so.
That's so stupid.
Yeah, you're right.
It's
it is
woke
stupid.
America. Woke America. I can't name my own son Living Failure.
Yeah, no, I don't think you can.
Imagine being a preschool teacher. You're reading the intake of the new kids.
Jimmy, living failure.
Okay, but then he looks like the alien from Bloodborne.
Ooh, I think you can make that happen with enough genetic mutations. Just start smoking a lot. Like, I feel like you both could really just up it before the pregnancy even happens.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Radiation straight
I'm glad
to the
have
balls.
Somebody in my lane.
Yeah, always, every day.
Yeah.
Speaking of games you've played before, I do want to ask like what your favorite games or game inspirations are.
I basically don't like games. I think everything that anyone else has made is like worse than anything I'll ever make. So can we move on to the next question? That's such a good question, actually. Because I love talking about video games, so I'll talk about more video games.
Hell yeah, let's do it.
My favorite game for a long time, for a really, really long time, was Dark Souls 1. I love that game.
Interesting.
It's just the best one.
Not the second one?
It is the first one I played. Oh, well, you know, people love the second one.
I know, so you can't.
People have opinions about the second one. The second one's got the most haters.
Does it actually?
Oh, 100%. I'm a Dark Souls 2 hater.
Maybe. What about it between the first and the second?
It's okay. There are a lot of things. It is like there's so much nuance to that
Top
question.
3.
Oh man, top 3. Okay. I think the world design of Dark Souls 1 is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of interconnectivity in the world, and there are a lot of different ways you can tackle how you approach the game. You can watch YouTube videos that are like, how many bosses can you beat in this game before you do like the first basic thing? And there's a ton of different ways you can do things. Dark Souls 2 doesn't really function like that. It is very much like linear pathways, and then you go back to a central spike, and then you go out. And I just don't like that. That was
fair.
very disappointing. I will say the biggest thing is Dark Souls 2 was a disappointment to me. I had expectations. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Having played the first one, I had expectations.
Yeah.
I think generally, like, the design of the areas and the bosses is just less interesting. It feels like there's, like, less intentionality and they kind of, like, scatter things around. And I know people are gonna, like, pull out the end of Dark Souls 1, like, the final few parts of it as, like, "What about this?" And it's like, "Well, yeah, that is terrible." But I don't
know if
disagree
I've
with you.
played through all the way of Dark Souls 1. I definitely haven't played through. I don't know
You
if I've
should.
seen it.
The second half is so, like, some parts of it feel so unfinished because they basically were. It's amazing.
Really?
It's like a perfect game, honestly.
It's unfinished. I fucking love it. That's what I just heard.
Well, okay, and that's what a lot of people like about Dark Souls 2, is that there's
Yeah.
a bunch of weird, janky, quirky stuff about it. Okay, and then the 2 other things that really annoy me is Dark Souls 2 has life gems, which are, like, healing items outside of Estus Flask. So, like, I think Estus Flask is such a smart idea,
Yes.
where you limit the amount of healing the player has access to, intentionally. But then they introduce life gems, which are you can just have as many as you want and also heal you. So then, if you wanna be patient and careful with bosses, you can just buy 99 life gems and then be really slow and attrition-y, and
I see.
and then, you know, if you want to be a person online, you can go, well, you don't have to play like that. And it's like, okay, sure, but it still exists.
Right,
Like,
right.
I'm
It
kind of
ruins the
encouraged to
formula.
play like that. Yeah.
Yes.
And then the other thing is this is a thing that really pisses me off, because this is just shows like there's this stupid random things about Dark Souls 2. They introduced something called soul memory, and soul memory was this hidden mechanic. Like, people only know about it because they had to data mine it, which at certain breakpoints, once you've earned a certain number of souls, you'll like not be able to join people who haven't earned that number of souls. So if you're trying to play through the game with a friend and you like get too many souls, you suddenly can't play with them, and you can't know how many souls you've gotten. So you can't know when you enter a new soul memory bracket. It's impossible to know
I had
without
no
like using
idea.
external tools. Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous.
Why did
Also,
they
the
do
lore,
that?
I don't know. It's so many things in 2 that are like that. The lore in 2 sucks, and they don't explain anything. And anyways, let's talk about games I like.
Yeah. I want to hear more things you like.
I got asked about games that I love to hate at my current job when I
Yeah.
did an interview, and Dark Souls 2 was one of the games I said.
And you seem like you have a good like essay length amount of reasons to back
Do
that
you want to
up.
be here for 12 more hours?
I mean, we could, but let's talk about good things, the games you like.
Yeah, so a couple of years ago, the game that replaced Dark Souls 1 was Outer Wilds.
Really?
Outer Wilds is
Everyone
the
tells
best
me
game
it's
ever made.
so good, and I haven't
It
played
is.
it yet.
Don't look anything up.
That's what I've heard.
Everyone else says that too.
Mm-hmm.
It is the best game ever made. It is like the type of thing that I played and I went, damn, is it even worth making anything?
Wow.
Because it will never be as good as this.
Yeah.
And I'm not joking. The answer is yes, it's still worth making things.
I'm glad you answered that for yourself. I was getting a little worried here.
But it does hit you like, damn, I don't know if there'll be anything better than this.
Yeah.
Like, I rarely consume media where I'm like, my analysis of it is like, this is perfect, and it is hard for me to even think of things I would change. Outer Wilds is one of those things.
Interesting.
Where like Dark Souls 1, I could tell you a million things that should have changed or I would have fixed about it. I can't think of anything that I would change about Outer Wilds.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to play. I'm going to prioritize it now. And I can't decide, is it better experienced alone, like without streaming it, that sort of thing?
If you can make sure nobody spoils you, I think it's fine to stream it.
It's the internet,
yeah.
Shane. I can't guarantee
that's the problem.
that. Yeah.
Turn on sub-only mode. There you go.
My subs will do it. I tell you what. They're conniving. I know.
Just I've been trying to get Liam to stream it for me.
Just for you? Like, personal viewing is so wholesome. I love that so much.
This is what I do. When we had Andrew play through it, the other programmer on Chromaticasters, we went over to his house and watched him play it.
That's really wholesome. I love that.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's fun to watch somebody else experience it the way that you
and
did.
It's the type of game. The reason everybody says don't look anything up. It's one of those games. I don't know if you've heard people using this term, but people are calling them Metroid Brainias.
No, I haven't heard that, but I like that.
It is a Metroidvania, but the thing you're gated by isn't items that you obtain in the game. It is knowledge that is like external to the game. Once you have the knowledge, you know how to solve the puzzles.
Right? That is so interesting.
Yeah. So like once you figure everything out, you can beat the game in like 10 minutes. But until you know, it's like a 20-hour experience.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And they made a DLC. When they announced they were making a DLC, this is my favorite part, is I was like, there's literally no way. It doesn't make sense. You can't make a DLC. It is too like, it's all answered. Everything's like enclosed and perfectly like capped off. And the guy who made the game, during where it got announced, he was like, if you've played Outer Wilds, you might be confused at the fact that we're making a DLC. And you might be asking yourself, why or how? And then he like pauses for like 10 seconds. And he's like, those are great questions. Anyways, here's the trailer. And it was like the perfect way to dissuade any fears. I was like, okay, he's aware that this is what everyone's thinking. And
that's awesome.
The DLC was amazing. And the DLC is also a 10 out of 10.
No kidding. That, I feel like, coming from you, like, I trust devs more than I would trust anybody else to give me like, this is really well designed. I think people are going to enjoy this. So like, that's high praise.
I could definitely see it miss for some people. Like, I've talked to people who are like, I didn't get it. And it's like, and I was like,
they didn't have enough wrinkles.
Wow, don't talk to me anymore.
To your wife specifically. Like,
no, me and Allison played through it together, actually. Aww. If that's what you want to do, play through it with Josh.
He's already played it though, so I feel like he would already know. I know. He ruined it. I'm gonna sign the divorce papers like momentarily. I'm a little upset.
Is he like, it sucked?
No, he loved it. He like genuinely loved it. So that's why I was
so
like,
funny.
Oh, like it. Oh yeah,
that would have been so funny. It was like, it was fucking terrible. It was one of the worst things I've ever played.
No, he really enjoyed it. But I met you through speedrunning. I met you through the Mirror's Edge community, which has always been very good to me, despite me barely being able to do a kick glitch. How did you get into speedrunning? And do you only speedrun Mirror's Edge, or did you? I don't know if you do.
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, I barely speedrun now. I'm like so focused on developing stuff.
Yeah.
I like picked up Mirror's Edge again recently. I was sitting in a call with like Liam and Ryan and Jack, and they were teaching me like the new stuff. I was like, damn, I kind of want to do this again. This is fucked up.
You'll get sucked in. Yeah.
I know. It's
bad.
A curse. But I got into streaming in like 2015, December of 2015. And I was like doing variety streams. And like to nobody, obviously.
Same.
I streamed the entirety of Dark Souls 3. It was like 100 hours to Andrew watching it.
I love that.
Yeah, that's it, basically. And I streamed for a really long time with like nobody watching. But that was the first time I said to myself, I want to like seriously commit, because I always said I want to be like a YouTuber, because that's what every fucking high schooler says. That's why I said they're all dumb, because everybody wants to be a YouTuber. Dumb idea.
So stupid. I hate it here. Also, this isn't my job.
Yeah. But I said like, oh, I want to do that, but I never actually committed. You know, I would upload like 2 videos and then I'd be like, this is so much work.
It is.
Recording and talking and whatever.
Playing games.
Playing games, it's so much work. But then I said like, I'm gonna commit. I'm going to stream 3 times a week. So I started doing that. And I did that probably for like 5 years.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And in that time, one of the things I picked up was like, well, what's a cool thing to do while I'm streaming? I should try to learn a speed run because I've always wanted to do that too. And there's so many people speedrunning. Why did I pick up Mirror's Edge? I think I watched Oven Donkey speedrun it in like AGDQ 2014, and I was like, this game looks awesome. I'm gonna learn how to speedrun this. And yeah, even before I started streaming, I remember this. I started learning Mirror's Edge on my crappy Alienware laptop that would
really
overheat
good
all
for
the time.
Inputs. One of the most technically advanced speed runs, and
I mean, it runs the game at twice the speed or whatever, you know.
Yeah,
it's the Alienware technology.
That's so good.
But in chapter 2, there was a part that like I couldn't get past, and I remember going in the Discord and asking like, "Hey, I can't get past this door. Can anyone help me?" And nobody knew why. Either that or like nobody really responded. I don't remember. But I was like, well, maybe it's my computer. So I finally remembered like, oh, I kind of want to get back into this.
Yeah.
I tried in the past. I want to try it again. Oh, by the way, it turns out I was missing a trigger before that is required for opening the door.
It's
I was
critical.
doing the previous start. I was doing the previous skip in such a way that I missed a trigger. And I only found that out like a year ago.
Really?
Somebody posted it in the Discord, and then somebody was like, "Yeah, you missed the trigger," and I was like, "That's what it was."
And you like were crying in your room, like no one answered me when I missed the trigger.
I know.
Wow,
yeah.
I'm so sorry they
I
betrayed
left the Discord
you.
after that,
as you should.
No.
Left the whole community.
But I was streaming, learning the game, and then Liam came into my chat. And I remember I was learning this one part in chapter 5 where you have to do like 3 Q turns. It's not even hard. It is like genuinely such an easy thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't figure it out. And he drew me a little diagram in MS Paint on how you do it. And that's when I met Liam.
I can't express how much I love Liam. He's so wholesome and just always wants to help. It's so nice.
Yeah. It's so funny. And it's like funny because I was like, this guy's so cool. Like I saw his runs and his time was so good. And I was like, oh, I'm so nervous.
Yeah.
And I finally got an invite into the Discord because the Mirror's Edge Discord was private back then.
Oh.
Yeah. I got an invite into the Discord, and then I was scared to like say anything because I was like, I don't want people to think I'm weird or lame. And then eventually I got invited into like a smaller group of people specifically around speedrunning and kind of became closer to Liam like that. And I was like, well, now I have friends. I don't need to play this game anymore. So I stopped playing Mirror's Edge.
Oh.
But like I actually went to ESA in 2018 and 2019. No, 2017 and 2018, I think. Which is the European Speedrunning Assembly, not the European Space Assembly.
Is that also an acronym? Okay.
Yeah, that's actually the whole joke. There's a Canadian speedrunning group called NASA, which is the North American Speedrunning Assembly.
Oh.
And so ESA did the same thing.
That's funny. I did not know that.
Yeah. So that's where that comes from. But I went to ESA because a lot of my friends I knew from speedrunning were in Europe. And I was like, well, I would rather do that than go to GDQ.
Yeah.
And also I want to go to Europe. That's cool.
Right.
I like really didn't know a lot of people who would go to GDQ at the time. It was funny. But I became really close friends with Sajiki, who is okay, you know Sajiki.
Yeah.
And from there, we started speedrunning a lot of things. So I actually know a lot of co-op speedruns. I know the speedrun for Battle Block Theater, for Borderlands 2. We learned the speedrun for something else. I don't remember. We also know the speedrun for the Minecraft custom map, Sword of Light.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, check that run out. It's actually a really cool run. We found skips for it and everything.
That rules.
We were like messing around playing custom Minecraft maps, and then we found this map, and we found like a big skip where you get like buttons and levers and stuff, and we found a way to skip past the part where we keep 4 levers, and we had to route out this whole custom route because now we had extra items and trying to figure out what parts of the level we should skip. Yeah, it was actually kind of insane.
That's fascinating.
So, and then also, I mean, really the most important highlight of speedrunning, I, for a long time, we probably still hold the 4-player world record, but I held the world record for Obama with Liam, Jack, Ryan. So that's a big deal. Me and Liam do that all the time. We'll just browse through Steam games and be like, let's find a crappy co-op game to speedrun.
Yeah.
And we found Obama, and in fact, top 3 games of all time.
I kind of love it. I'm going to be
Number
real.
2, Outer Wilds.
Yeah. I love Obama. I thought it was just like a meme, especially when you guys were talking about it. And then I like got in it. I was like, wait, I think I'm having fun.
No, it's actually awesome. Yeah, it's awesome. So check out Obama on Steam.
And check out the run that y'all did at ESA where you invited like the audience
like 40 people.
It was so cool. I've never seen anything like that at a speedrun event, so that was really cool.
Yeah, that's what I really like. I still kind of participate in speedrunning events, but mostly the thing I like doing is, can we get silly with it?
Yeah.
Because it's like, to me, it's gotten to the point where like everybody knows what speedrunning is.
Mm-hmm.
And like you do carpetless in like a Super Mario 64 speedrun and nobody's impressed anymore.
Yeah.
You get 16 stars blindfolded and people are like, whoa, cool, you're awesome. I mean, that's actually a cool run. But that's kind of like the energy I want to capture. Yeah. So like with Hackathon and stuff, which is a marathon that I've helped organize in the past, we do things like relay races, and that kind of stuff. But I'm explaining this to you. I guess the chat probably doesn't know. But what we'll put on is like 5v5 Mirror's Edge, where like one person will complete 2 chapters versus somebody else who completes 2 chapters, and it'll be 2 teams racing against each other. And then my favorite part is we're raising money for charity, and we'll do commentary bias. So you can donate for us to root for one team or the other.
That's right. I forgot about that. I loved that. It's super fun.
Yeah, and it's funny to be on commentary and be like, obviously everyone wants this team to win, and then $20 come in. And then I'm like, I'm just kidding though. That was obviously
sucks.
a joke. Nobody wants that team to win. And you can't bash anyone at a speedrunning event. You can't be like, if a race is going on, you have to be so positive. You finally get to be mean.
Yeah.
You have to be like, these people suck. Nobody wants them to win.
And it's all for charity.
It's all for charity. So it's an opportunity to be mean for charity, which is kind of what I'm always looking for.
I hope you put that on your resume, is like always looking for opportunities to be mean for charity.
For charity.
Yeah.
I emphasize the 4 so they don't think 2.
Right.
Because that would be bad.
Right.
I don't want to be mean to charities.
No.
Unless it's for charity.
Ooh.
Yeah. Now we're talking.
Weird paradox going on there. I think we could make it work. Like St. Jude, like you kick a couple kids, but like they donate $100 every time you kick a child.
That's a good idea. Yeah. I was thinking something less extreme, which is like a charity tier list, but it's during a live stream where you're raising money for charity.
Oh, so people have to like vote for their favorite one. And it's like, this charity sucks.
And you have
it's an F.
F tier.
F tier charity.
Yeah. Who needs to raise money for cancer?
Not a single person. This one up here that is donating hot dogs to your local elementary school. To me. Yeah, this is hot dogs for Shane, and it's currently winning with $3,000. So it's clearly the best charity.
I think that we could make that work. Hot dogs for Shane.
Okay, so for our next video, I have we're doing a soap tasting tier list and a charity tier list. If you have any other ideas between now and then when we meet in the interstate McDonald's, just throw them in there. And
I have so many ideas.
Combine them into one. I think that could be really fucked up. Shane, where can people find you?
You can find anywhere. On the streets really is the best place. If you see me,
just
on
the streets.
Probably the place I post the most frequently is YouTube. I make shorts for our game. If you want to talk to me, just like feel free to message me on Twitter or Discord. I don't really mind. If you're weird, I won't respond though.
Well, what qualifies as weird?
I don't know. If you don't lead with, hey, I wanted to donate $30 to hot dogs for Shane.
That's weird if you don't say that. So like,
if you don't say it, it's weird.
You should probably
basically if you
like
say that. Yeah. No. Yeah. Discord, Twitter, YouTube. You can find me in any of those places. Shafournee. That's what I go by. You'll have to put it. See, that's the thing. If I say it out loud, nobody's gonna be able to spell it right. You're gonna have to put it in like bold text, like across the screen, across my face, maybe.
I just put it there. You're welcome.
Thank you.
So much editing for later. I hate you.
I'll Venmo you.
Thank you. It's the charity money though. Like it's not money. For anything else. Okay, thank you so much for hanging out. I really appreciate you coming to talk. I think you're fun to talk to. So this was a blast.
Thanks for having me.
Anytime. And for everyone else, I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.